Welcome to Grey Primer. My name is Nick. I'm your host, and this is day one of our Raging Heroes weekend. The French miniatures brand who makes some of the very best resin miniatures around. So my relationship with Raging Heroes up to now has been that I would log into their website, I'd look at all the stuff, and then about 3 hours later, I'd leave their website and think, one day. So that day has finally come. It's been a long time getting here. I saved up the money. I went onto the website, and it was just so good to be like, yeah, I want this, and this. And then 2 minutes later, I'd be like, maybe not that. Maybe I want this instead. Or this. Or, analysis paralysis. I spent hours just getting it down to like a short list. And then eventually I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go for this. And I got it. It arrived pretty quickly. The French Postal Service was in lockdown, I think, for a few weeks. But the communication was good throughout. Raging Heroes are really great. They're really responsive when you try to contact them through, I think I contacted them through Instagram and email. But they got back really quickly. Now, when they first arrive, you sort of think, this isn't right. This is just a cardboard box with like all these retail sort of slips, and surely this isn't Raging Heroes, but this is Raging Heroes. Now, I don't know whether this style is something to do with COVID-19 or that's how they always ship to from their website. I don't really care. It's fine. What we have here is the selection of miniatures that I'm going to be looking at over this weekend. And I will dig through each of those on their 4 separate days. But I'm just going to open this up and let you see what you get inside. Get some bubble wrap. And then everything is individually bagged. Let's get a free miniature there, which is kind of cool. So today we are looking at the Vanquishers, so let's get stuck into that now. Let's have a look at the Vanquishers All-Star Command and Troops. And we will start with the Troops, I think. So let's get in here. I'm going to do a sniff test. Like salt and vinegar crisps. Seriously. Okay. So no loose parts. Move this out of the way for a second. So within the Troops, you get 5 individual sculpts. No duplicates here. They are mostly constructed, really. I mean, we're just talking about popping a few arms on here. There are a couple of different weapons options, I think, looking at it just as a glance. Let's have a look. So, oh, whoa. The detail in the face? You kidding me? That is so delicate. Like, they've really nailed it. The way the ribbons off the clothing goes, the incredibly fine ornamentation. This embroidery work across here, or whatever that is, on the robes. This is stunning. Absolutely stunning. The bolter, or whatever Raging Heroes equivalent has got nice detail on the magazine there. You got the little elbow pad. That's just stunning. Truly stunning. That really just lives up to those renders. So impressed by that. Too cool. Next up, totally different pose. Gun up in the air. And again, just breathtaking detail. And these would fit into any sort of Adepta Sororitas type of army as well. Sorry, just get that focusing. Too cool. Some of them have any of those had weapons options? I think maybe, no, these are, so far these can only be built one way. That's fine. When they look as good as this, that's fine. Look at the bottom of that robe with like the fleur-de-lis. Again, more of those cathedral type backpacks. As for cleanup, I don't think there's a huge amount to do here. Just these little resin connectors to the sprue. Yeah, I don't think this is going to take a lot of work. The only thing really is mold lines. Once I get this all magnified up and my light on it, when I'm doing sort of the trimming and stuff, I'll be able to tell then just how much work. There is kind of a hazy edge to the backpack. Sorry for the focus there. You can just see that. Just kind of like a little skin almost. So I'll have to be careful with that to make sure I'm removing all of that. Because when I prime that could really show up. Like I can't get over how much detail has been retained from the renders to this actual printing. To this cast. It looks like this one has alternate weapons. So that's kind of the first of those, which is cool to see. And then this one is pretty much all built. It's just that backpack to put on. So let's have a look at the command group now. Pop this trooper group out of the way and get the command group out. No loose parts. Oh, wow. Oh, no, we have some of those parts here. So let's have a look at the first one. So this is the Vanquishers Command group. And it looks like the quality is consistent across these as well. Whew. I love these cast details. You don't have to worry about, free-handing these in, which is great. You can see some more of that skin there. Quite a lot of it, actually. But a hobby knife will get rid of that in no time at all. Okay. Another one here that's pretty much built. And looking absolutely magnificent. I love as well that these miniatures are fully clothed, heavily armored, and are just resplendent. And absolutely badass. Oh, look at this. With the eagle? Some kind of a... Yeah, it's hard to tell because it's got that skin on it. But really, I think this is the marquee kind of figure in this Vanquishers group. With the bird on the shoulder. You can see it a bit clearer in the main central image there. It's a little harder to spot because it's got some of that skin on it. There's just so much movement in it with the way the robes are catching in the wind. The hair catching, the bird pointing off to one side. These are great sculpts. Again, a huge amount of motion. Dynamism, action. And then there's the final one from the command group. And looking pretty terrifying. But also super cool. Love it. I'm so into this. These are just great individual sculpts. Looking fantastic. And I'm so excited to get them built. I'll be back very soon. And I am back. The Vanquishers All-Star Command and Troops from Raging Heroes here on day 1 of our Raging Heroes weekend. So let's start with the troops, which are these 5 over here. And then these 5 are command. I couldn't actually tell from this which was troops and command, so I had to check it out on the RagingHeroes.com website. So anyway, these are troops. I don't think it matters. Here we go. Really just cracking poses. I mean, look at that, just pointing off in that direction, looking the same way. There is a little bit of play on the arm positioning. Which I like. I haven't primed any of these minis because I just wanted to show if there was anywhere that I had to fill or anything like that. but there was actually very little work to do on them. Removal of some skin, you know, sometimes around the gun and stuff there'd be a little bit of skin from the resin. But generally, you know, mold lines, usual kind of thing, not really much different from preparing a polystyrene, like a plastic miniature. And yeah, pretty dramatic looking. So I apologize for some of these if there's glue spots and things on the bases. All of that would be invisible once it's primed. But I did just want to, like I say, leave it so you can see sort of what work's involved. I drilled all the barrels and all of these. Fairly straightforward drilling them just with a pin vise. The one thing I did notice was you had to be just a little bit more cautious when drilling them. If you took your eye off it for a second, it would occasionally just sort of like the drill would pop out the side here somewhere. I think really it's just because the material is different. It's a little bit softer. So just paying attention is all that was really required there. But beautiful expressions in the faces. And as you can see, the detail throughout the miniature is second to none. It's utterly stunning. So let's get on to the third one of the troops. I don't know what makes this one a troop, but this looked command to me. I don't know. Maybe it does to you as well. An utterly beautiful sculpt. Love the position of the weapon. I love all the flowing robes, and I guess these are the equivalent of purity seals hanging off as well. And then we have that, you know, the backpack, and I mean, look at even the way the robe is sort of, or the, whatever this is, this cape is just sort of sculpted around. You can see where it's sculpted around the tops of the legs there. It's just beautiful. And again, nicely drilled barrels. I think what really stands out with these miniatures is just how much dynamism there is in it. Look at that pose. That is someone in full sprint across the battlefield. Nothing static here, nothing boring or... Yeah, like all 10 of these are different sculpts. Across all of the Raging Heroes miniatures that I built for this weekend, they're all completely different. I just think that's fantastic. Sure, you pay a little bit extra for them, but look how unusual they are. Look how astonishingly beautiful they are. Great. That was, I think, my greatest fear was that the renders on their website were going to be, and you know, on these like images like this, that they were going to be a world of difference from the actual minis, but I have not been disappointed. Loving this gun as well. I like the book on the little stand on the back there. Very consistent with the sort of Adepta Sororitas look. And yeah, I drilled the little one underneath there as well. Not just the big one, but the little one. I don't know what that's for, what purpose it serves within the weapons functioning, but I was like, nah. I'm going to challenge myself and do the little one too. And it was fine, thankfully. And let's go over to the command group. Look at the detail in the face there. I'm hoping that the camera's picking that up for you. Throughout the process of making these, I was stunned by how much work had gone into them. I guess these are the purity seal equivalents hanging off the backpack there too. And even the detail on the robes. You can see the fleur-de-lis design. You can see these, the kind of embellishments. The firearms themselves are beautifully detailed. The hands nestle nicely underneath. Little bit fiddly, I gotta admit, getting the second arm underneath to support the weapon. And when you're gluing them, it's always just a little bit fiddly, getting them to line up nicely. But with patience and perseverance, they're fine. Another one here with a very small contact point to the base, but an incredibly extravagant looking miniature. Bolt pistols, I'm not sure what the equivalent. Again, that beautiful embellishment across the robe. These fantastic backpacks. And just look at the detail on that face. They're incredible. Incredible sculpts. I don't think there's anything disappointing within this Vanquishers range, apart from maybe one small thing I'll get to in a second. But there's nothing here that would prevent me from ordering more and more from Raging Heroes. This is the one's carrying this sort of flail weapon. And again, you can see this part of their, I guess, a loincloth, whatever this part of the costume is, wrapped around the leg a little bit. It's little touches like that just make this such a joy to look at. The expression on the face. Again, you can see sort of purity seals. And look at the movement in this. It's just fab. For sure, there were a couple of occasions where those very minimal contact points almost undid me. And I had the miniature sort of resting between a couple of bean bags is what I use to sort of stabilize them when I'm waiting for the glue to set sometimes. Look at this weapon. The big clear fleur-de-lis logo on the side of it. Got those beautiful double barrels. Expression on the face is fantastic. And the armor is really beautifully detailed as well. You know, it's not overly ornate. You can tell that it's functional war gear. But I really like everything about these. I mean, look at this, the purity seal tape going off, or the parchment at the back here, catching in the wind. The pose is incredibly aggressive. And as well, what I like is there's a lot of space here on these robes to put in logos and things like that. So if you are using these as proxies for Adepta Sororitas and 40k, you know, you can get your... these are going to be the Order of the Bloody Rose, so you can get your logos and stuff in there. Plenty of space for that. And then the last one, which is kind of the centerpiece here of the Vanquishers All-Star Command, is this here. I've got this incredible bird of prey up on the shoulder. Hopefully you can see that nice and clear. Just a beautiful, beautiful miniature. And... you know, this very cool, I think it's a chainsword. In the back here, you can see more detail on the bird. This one in particular, actually, there was a lot of stuff to clean up. It had skin around almost the whole thing, and that just took a little bit of TLC. And the skin had a tendency to disappear. You would think, I've got it all. And then you'd kind of just turn it around or put a little bit of glue on, and lo and behold, a new piece of skin would appear. So... and this is really the only sort of negative I have on this. Not the skin and cleanup. I mean, that's just par for the course. But this particular miniature sort of struck me as incredibly flat. And if you look at it in profile, it is just kind of... I mean, forget the backpack. But just look how flat it is. From both sides there. Front on, magnificent. At the back, you know, incredibly dramatic. But it just struck me as being a little bit unusual. Because when I'd seen it in this image, here on the promo sort of sheet, the retail sheet, I was like, look at that, look how cool it is with the bird and everything. And it was only really when I got it when I saw it on the sprue that I was like, oh, there's no depth to it at all. It just was strange. When you consider, you know, the likes of this one here from the Command team. As you rotate it, it's got that lovely depth to it. It just struck me as a very different sort of design. And yeah, that was the only thing really the only negative I can say about it, apart from the you know, the resin skin and stuff, was just the design of that was a tiny bit disappointing, because I thought on the artwork here, or in the renders, that it had look at the coolest one, that one right in the center. And I was like, oh man, I can't believe, you know, or I can't wait to get that one. And yeah, that was the only sort of negative. And really that's the only thing that knocked like a half a star off of this set, was just that the miniature I'd been looking forward to most, with the bird and everything, turned out to be just a little bit, a little bit two-dimensional. But hey, apart from that, beautiful. easy enough to put together, not so hard to clean, and the quality of the finish, aside from that skin, and maybe the odd little bubble that I noticed, like maybe only a millimeter or less wide, just a little bubble in the resin. That was all that I could really say that's all I could really complain about. And those are pretty small things. And that brings us to the end of day 1 of our 4-day Raging Heroes weekend. That was the Vanquishers All-Star Command and Troops. I will be back tomorrow with the Davidians. A very different type of squad. And I think that it's going to be a interesting comparison to this one. But that's all coming up tomorrow. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and if you know people who'd enjoy it, please share. That'll really help me out. Down below you'll see links to the merchandise store, Mighty Lancer Games. But for now, thanks for watching the video, and hopefully I'll catch you tomorrow. Take care now. Bye bye.